This is The Theory of Flight, Book 1, Part 3, The Present, Kuki. Kuki Carmichael puts her hand on the door handle and takes a deep breath. She does this once every week and it never gets any easier. She looks at her liver-spotted and wrinkled hand and grimaces. When did she become so bloody old? How did she allow this to happen to her? She studies her reflection in the rearview mirror, a shriveled, sunburned face with a smear of strawberry red lipstick. Ugh! It is a sound that comes from the back of her throat in disgust. Perhaps she looks good for 81, but to be honest, she has no idea what a good-looking 81-year-old should look like. It had never occurred to her that she would live this long, and if it had occurred to her, she would probably have thought she would be a blithering idiot by now. But no. Unfortunately, Kuki has all her wits about her, a brain as sharp as it was 50 years ago. Sharp enough now to let her know that she looks like a prune. Enough of that, Kix, she says out loud, clapping her hands together to snap her out of it. She lifts her cardigan and the biscuit packets that she concealed in it off the passenger seat. She places the package securely under her arm before pushing open the door with some effort. When did the door become so damn heavy? She gets out of the car as quickly as her years allow. Standing in the bright sunshine, she takes a deep breath and without allowing herself to give it a moment's thought, she marches towards the building. The Princess Margaret Retirement Home. She supposes it is a kindness to call it a retirement home instead of what it is. A home for the old, abandoned, misbegotten, and forgotten. The pastel-colored decor and the Vera Lynn singing The White Cliffs of Dover made Kuki want to turn right back around as soon as she enters. But she steels herself and forces a smile. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Carmichael." A bevy of black beauties, all smiles, say from behind the reception desk. "Good afternoon, ladies," Kuki says in her gruff, "I used to smoke a pack of Everests a day" voice. "She's waiting for you," the bevy of black beauties say in unison. "Thank you," Kuki says, her strawberry red smile still plastered on her face, the strain of it beginning to show. She strongly suspects that there is lipstick on her two front teeth, but she cannot stop smiling. She has to answer every single "Good afternoon, Miss Carmichael." That will inevitably accompany her down the corridor with the same strained smile and a good afternoon of her own. Time was the staff at the Princess Margaret were all white. Now they are all black. Time was Kuki would not have cared either way. Now she does. The past 10 years have had her talking about them more and more. Kuki does not want to be misunderstood. She is not a racist. She does not have a racist bone in her body. She is a liberal. She has been ever since she married Todd Whitehead Carmichael in 1981. So she is not a racist. She is just a frustrated liberal. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Carmichael." "Good afternoon." There always seems to be so nice and friendly, but there are really wolves in sheep's clothing. If you give them an inch, they will run the country into the ground and let it go to the dogs. "Here goes," she says under her breath as she inhales deeply before opening the door. The room looks warm and wonderful in the sunlight that streams through the peach curtains. This is why Kuki always comes in the afternoon, for the blushing light. She once came in the evening and the room had been positively depressing. The room is furnished well. All the furniture belongs to Beatrice. Kuki is sure that this is what the inhabitants appreciate about the Princess Margaret. It allows them to bring their former homes to the home. This does not stop their furniture from seeming more and more like museum pieces, or their bodies from seeming more and more like relics as time goes by, but it is still a considerate gesture. "Kix," a voice says from within the folds of peach curtain. It is Beatrice Bate Beaufort. Kuki genuinely smiles at her friend and stretches her arms out for a big, satisfying hug. "Yes, Bea, it's me." They hug. Kuki avoids Beatrice's eyes as they both sit down on the sofa. She does not want to see the faraway look that will inevitably enter Beatrice's eyes. It's been 6 months now, and Kuki has yet to reconcile herself to the fact that Beatrice has Alzheimer's. Today is a good day. Today started with recognition. But Kuki knows better than to hope that the entire visit will be good. My nails are such a mess, Beatrice says, looking at her hands. I've been waiting for Genie, but she has not come. She smiles apologetically as her hands pat her hair. I must look awful. Kuki pats Beatrice's hand reassuringly. You look lovely, dear. Absolutely lovely. Suddenly feeling cold, she unfolds her cardigan and reveals the packet of stowed-away biscuits. Look what I brought you, Kuki says, holding up the biscuits like treasures. Highlanders and tennis biscuits. Beatrice makes a sound of pure delight. Oh, Kix, you're the bestest friend a girl could ask for. Let me pop the kettle on, Kuki says. And she makes her way to the electric kettle that sits on a table in the corner, surrounded by sachets of teas with exotic names, teacups, saucers, teaspoons, and a small bowl of sugar cubes. Electric kettles are rare at the Princess Margaret. Only the good patients are allowed to have them. As Kuki clicks on the kettle, she takes comfort in the fact that her friend is considered a good patient. My nails are positively grotesque. Imagine what matron Stinkerbockers would say if she saw them, Beatrice says, her voice carrying laughter within it. Stinkerbockers. It had been many years since either of them used the word. Its unexpectedness makes it even funnier. Kuki laughs heartily. Tears sting her eyes. She wipes them away. What do you know? It is going to be a good visit after all. I think we should go visit her, says Beatrice. Visit who, dear? Kuki asks, suddenly apprehensive, but trying to sound nonchalant, as she pours the just-boiled water over the tea bags in the teacups. The aroma of jasmine fills the air. Stinkerbockers, or rather Matron Polvy, has been dead for decades. Genie. I told you that Valentine Tanaka from the organization is coming to talk to you about the farm. We spoke about this over the phone earlier today, you remember? Of course I remember, but I refuse to be in this disheveled and unkempt state any longer. I need grooming. I need Genie. Perhaps we can visit Genie after we talk to Valentine, Kuki says, delicately handing Beatrice a teacup and saucer. From the moment Beatrice had entered the Princess Margaret, Genie and Kuki had made an agreement with one another. Genie would come to visit Beatrice, Miss B to her, twice a month and take her on a girls' day out to the spa or to a hair salon. They would have manicures, pedicures, massages, incongruous hairstyles, giggles, and thick, generous slices of chocolate cake. Once a week, Kuki would come for tea and sympathy. Kuki would have loved to come more often, but it broke her heart to see her friend, her best friend, in here like this. Genie could spend time with a Beatrice who forgot more than she remembered because Genie had not known Beatrice when Beatrice would not have cared a jot about her nails, her hair, or Stinkerbockers. It seemed to Kuki to be more than a simple twist of fate that Genie was the daughter of Golide Gumede, the very man who had shot down Beatrice's plane during the war. When Kuki had shared the news with Beatrice, she had had no idea that it would lead to a beautiful friendship between Beatrice Bate Beaufort and Imogen Zula Nyoni. They had too much in common: a love for sunflowers, a childhood lived on the Beaufort farm and estate, a hero for a father, and a brave, defiant spirit, for their differences in age and race to matter. There is a hesitant knock on the door before one of the black beauties, apologetically so, lets a man into the room. "Valentine," Kuki says, automatically pouring him a cup of tea. "What's all this business about Beaufort all of a sudden?" "Kuki? Beatrice?" Valentine says, accepting the cup of jasmine-scented tea and sitting himself on the chair facing Beatrice. "Why, the interest in Beaufort? Well, as you know, war veterans have settled on the farm. have been settled there for years. Well, that is an illegal act. We know it is. We would like to evict them from the land. Who is we? The organization. You mean your boss. I mean the organization. Why now? Well, as they say, there is no time like the present. All we need from Beatrice are the title deeds. Don't have them, Beatrice says. What do you mean you don't have them? Kuki asks. I mean just that. I no longer have them. I sold the land. To whom? Kuki and Valentine ask simultaneously. The survivors. The survivors? The survivors. They bought the land fair and square for $1. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Genie. The discovery of the precious and beautiful something lets Genie know what she needs to do next. She needs to send the 1965 World Atlas to Marcus. She needs to send a postcard with the image of the Victoria Falls on it to Crystal. She needs to trust in the efficacy of the postal system to get these things safely to America. She needs to send a colorful bird to Minentle and Mordecai. She needs to take Beatrice for a spa day. But first of all, she needs to stop taking her medication without Vida noticing.